Hey guys, Midnight Strike here. Welcome back to another classic review. So the picture you just saw was of myself in the 7th grade when we first got a digital camera. It was one of the first digital pictures my family took. Before that it was all film based, and that was in 2006. Yes, the date is right, because oftentimes the date on the little corner right over here is wrong for whatever reason. But the date is right. It was 2006, and it was also the very first day I got Battle Network 2, which is the game that I'm going to be reviewing now. So I sold this game back in like 08-ish to buy a bunch of other games, but I actually just returned to it the next day, or the next year, next day. But yeah, how does it hold up? Does it seem childish? Well, yeah, it does have that childish kind of appeal to it, and it does hold up vastly compared to a lot of other Game Boy Advance games. And you know what makes this game so good? Well, it actually fuses some turn-based combat with action RPG combat, because you get a 3x3 grid that you can walk around on and like run and move and dodge enemy attacks, and the enemies also get a 3x3 grid. The thing is, the AI actually only allows it to move around in a certain set pattern. So some enemies may only be able to move up and down, others can move all over the place at random times. But most of the time it's pretty easy to tell what the enemies are going to do. So getting into it, this is about a 5th grader named Lan Hikari. And yes, LAN, local area network, back then, whatever. But this game first came out in 2002, and I actually have some gameplay footage of it. I'll link that in the description, as well as my review on GameFAQs. And it was actually my first ever reviewed game, albeit in article form. So, like I said, I was a little bit camera shy back then, and I really didn't have the means of uploading any videos, because back then we had dial-up connection. So, yeah, didn't even have a YouTube account back then. So, basically, yeah, it was reviewed by myself in 2007 under the name Hubstyle Master, because Hubstyle is a thing that you can acquire in this game, a style, moreover, and it changes your basic weapon that you can use. You press B on the Game Boy Advance and it shoots, but you can hold B and you can charge, and each style gives you various charges. And Hubstyle actually halves your HP, your hit points, your health overall, and but in return, you get all these different neat special effects. So, it's kind of a trade-off deal, and it's the hardest style to get in the game. It's a secret style, so, when I got it, I worked hard as hell to get that style. So, it was very rewarding when it finally paid off, and that was also the advent of when I discovered you can use the internet on games. So I was like, good times. Very good times. It's very nostalgic for me, and well, basically, what I said in the review, if you can ignore very, very obvious spelling errors as I was in the 8th grade, then you can read my review on GameFAQs, because I pretty much feel the same way, except for I'm not going to praise it as much, because it does have a childish appeal to it, but at the same time, you read some of the dialogue and you're like, yeah, okay, It doesn't have the greatest dialogue, but at the same time, it does accomplish what it needs to with the dialogue. So, it's kind of like I said before, a trade-off, standoff, basically. So, the scenarios in which Lan goes around, you can jack in to the net, which is the internet, and you can run around. The internet isn't like a traditional, typical page-by-page internet. You type in the URL. No, it is a free-roaming internet. Everything is connected to it. Everything has a jack-in port. You jack in your NetNavi, which is your little navigation. It stands for Internet Navigator. And your Navi is actually a sort of human being, robotic, kind of whatever you customize it to be. In this case, you get Mega Man. And, Mega Man, the Blue Bomber from the NES games, Mega Man X. But this is a different Mega Man. This is Mega Man.exe. So, different personalities, different everything. It's set in an alternate timeline, as if Dr. Wily, did not have the power to make these robot masters, so instead they went more of an internet kind of way, and everything's online. So basically, it's like robot masters, but online. That's what the end navis are, and the scenarios in which you face these robot masters, or net navis in this point, are like the levels that you face in the originals. So, at the end of the game, you actually face every single Navi that you faced in the scenarios, every single terroristic Navi in sequence, so no break or anything like that, no recovery of HP. And, you know, it's really fun. Every scenario is really believable, really awesome, actually, really fun to go through. You know, fun's kind of a neglected word. Intercom Company on Classic Game Room actually said that, you know, fun is often substituted for very, very complex words when all you really need to say is it's fun. And basically that's what it boils down to here. Another interesting note is this is the only Battle Network game to contain profanity. Albeit it's like damn and hell and stuff like that, but it really makes me wonder how it kept its E rating with those little snippets in there. And also, I mean, like, this game was released like a couple months after 9/11 actually, and there's a scenario in which an old guy tries to hijack a plane and crash it. So, you know, wonder how they slipped past that. I don't know. Maybe they just weren't paying attention, Japanese people, but no, just kidding. The Japanese game makers, they always produce the coolest stuff. So this was made for the Game Boy Advance. I had mine on the SP, obviously. I still have this one. Actually, this one's my brother's, but he hasn't sold it yet. So, awesome system. And, you know, I still retain that this is the best game for Game Boy Advance. I mean, honestly, I love it. I don't know. I like Pokemon too a little bit, but this one has just more action, I guess, and that's pretty much what I'm looking for. You collect these weapons, battle chips, and you use them against your enemies. So, for more information on it, if I'm not really like being clear on like what you can do with this, then you can look at my 10th anniversary celebration of Mega Man Battle Network 2 down below in the description. So, by watching the gameplay, you will pretty much grasp on what I mean, so on how this game works. But overall, it has the most powerful weapons, the best style customizations. You can actually trade styles. You can link up, another thing I left out, you can link up Game Boy Advances and actually battle your opponent if you have two of the same game. The only downside to that is you can't battle 1 and 2 or 2 and 3, so if you have Battle Network 3, you can't connect to Battle Network 2. The exception, however, to this rule is you can connect Battle Network 1 to Battle Network 2 and use a retro, that's what it's called, a retro chip trader. So you can trade your battle chips, which are the weapons in the game, for battle chips that were inside Battle Network 2, or Battle Network 1, excuse me. So basically, get the chips in Battle Network 2 from Battle Network 1, and if the chip isn't in Battle Network 2 originally, it will be grayed out. But you can still use it. The picture on the actual battle chip itself will be grayed out. So it's a really fun game, really engaging, really keeps you going basically. And when I played it for the first time, I could not put this down. I could not put this game down. My first entry into the series was Battle Network 3, and I like that one almost as much, if not as much, as 2 now. But 2 really hit the nail on the head for me. Oh my gosh, I was addicted to that game, and of course 3, for the longest time. So, on that note, I am going to probably give Battle Network 2 probably like a 9.5 out of 10, because honestly, as you know, as perfect as it is, little bit of unrealistic dialogue and unrealistic scenarios, few of them, just few. And it's, you know, some areas just make you go, what? Like, why? Why would you do that? You know, some of those areas. But overall, it's got a nice polish, a nice shine, amazing gameplay, and, you know, pretty decent characters. So, they are very likable. And on that note, 9.5 out of 10. Thank you very much for watching. This is Midnight Strike 3625. Keep calm and rock on. And I hope you enjoyed seeing that picture of me with short hair. You know, like, I had like an inch of hair, and now I have like, what, a foot? So, I mean, yeah. See ya.